Welcome back to the channel. Over the past probably year and a bit, I've been looking at hand-turned pens a lot, and it was about this time last year at Scriptus that I discovered that I actually couldn't get the caps off of most hand-turned pens because I needed a clip to get the caps off, and their clips aren't super common on hand-turned pens. There are some makers that exclusively make hand-turned pens with clips, but they're harder to find. And so I've sort of been on the quest to find a hand-turned pen that I could get the cap off of, and luckily at Scriptus 2024, one of my friends was there with Hinze Pen Co. and had sort of dropped a hint that I needed to come by the table. And so when we went by, we found something, and it came home as my birthday present. So let's take a look at it. So this is a pen from Hinze. It's absolutely lovely, and I adore it. And we're gonna look at it. So, as always, it comes with their card. There are some very specific instructions on this card because it is a nano ceramic nib using electroplating, which is how they apply the color. So actually it's a normal JoWo nib, but it's got a nano ceramic lacquer that then gets colored using electroplating. And there are some very clear instructions. You cannot use anything with a non-neutral pH. So if it's safe for vintage, it's probably safe for this pen. You can only use distilled or deionized water. You should leave it in the housing when you're cleaning it. Handle it with care, and don't use shimmer inks in it. And so I've actually touched base with Hinze about, specifically Francisco from the Hinze team, about what ink I was planning on putting in this pen, and we've had a bit of a discussion. And for today, I'm just going to dip in an ink because I'm not 100% sure on what ink I'm going to match with this pen. I've got all my swatches, and we're going to flip through and see if we can find a good match. But this is the pen, and it's absolutely stunning. It is a prototype resin that then became Winter Sunset. And if you've seen Winter Sunset, it's got some white in it. The swirls are much larger. This has much tighter, tiny swirls, and is absolutely stunning. I love it. It also originally had a silver clip, and then Francisco switched it to a purple clip, and it's going to come as no surprise. It's got a purple nib. One of the sort of my favorite things with Hinze pens is that you can get colored nibs for them. He sells his pens at pen shows. When you're looking at them on the table, they don't have a nib in them. And so if there are nibs that match, you can get a nib that matches. And so mine has a purple nib, which matches beautifully. And I adore this resin, and I love how easy it is to get the cap on and off. And it's quite a lovely pen. So we're going to do some writing with it, and then we're going to see if I can find an ink color that matches it, because I think I've got some in my collection that might match, but I don't know that I've got a perfect match yet in an ink that would be safe for this pen. All right, let's take this cap off. This is a B24 with a medium nib. The ink is it's not the ink for that pen, but I knew that going into this. So let's pull out, I think it's either going to be a purple or it's going to be a blue. Those are the only options. Also, it's beautifully tuned, the nib, so. I could see it being Dusk and Bloom, actually. See it being that. I think that. 3 Steamboats. Maybe. 3 Steamboats is new. I don't yet have a Cola Ring Dipper for it. Not that. So they recommended Mont Blanc. When I was talking to Francisco, he recommended Mont Blanc or... Oh, there was a whole list. Let me find the list. All right. Sailor, Pilot, Robert Oster, Mont Blanc, Diamine. And then I said that I frequently used Mont Blanc, and he said that that's an ink that his wife uses in the Hinze pens without issue. So I'm leaning towards... Could you do Romeo and Juliet? Maybe you could do Romeo and Juliet. Actually, Romeo and Juliet wouldn't be awful. I'm leaning towards something from one of those brands, and honestly, it might be a Mont Blanc. Well, that's Private Reserve. That is on the no list. You are not allowed to use Noodlers or Private Reserve. They're both on the list of like absolute no's. That's a possibility. That's Harlequin Dreams. What about that? I think that's too... Nope. Nope. These are all too pinks of purples. Yeah. So it's Romeo and Juliet, or it's 3 Steamboats. I love that Diamine Earl Grey is a gray, but really it's not. What's this? Maybe. I would say right now, these are my 3 maybes, which none of them seem to be 100% a match. I wish I could find something in like this light blue. I'm shocked I don't have something in that light blue. I thought this was going to be a match, but it's not, which is really surprising. It's too bright almost. That's Wear and Go. Really, this Ferris Wheel Press ink is a fairly good match, but it's too light when you write with it. And I don't really have anything other than Dusk and Bloom. I don't really have anything in like the muted dusty blues. Dusk and Bloom also isn't an awful match for it, so it might end up in this pen. That's already in a pen. Oh, this is hard. Like, I'm not against, honestly, I'm not against this storied blue. But I feel like I've got a lot of storied blue-ish colors inked up currently. But I like sort of the idea of it. And that's fairly similar, just with a pink sheen. So, I said I wasn't inking this pen. If I ink this pen, I have to cull some things that are currently inked. Let's see if I have room in my pen case to ink this pen. All right, I have one spot in the pen case. So, this is getting inked up. It's Robert Oster, Romeo and Juliet. I picked this up at the Atlas Sidewalk sale. There are some other Robert Oster colors that I really like that I need to end up getting some bottles of. But let's ink this up. I'm just gonna like wipe this nib off well, because really the color that's being dipped into this bottle is pretty similar. We're also only going to do a partial fill because I'm not super in love with this color combo. It's just the current color combo that we're going to go with. All right. I love this resin. this. Really, they look almost identical. Sheen. Alright. I'm gonna need a new purple. Really, what this taught me is I need a new purple ink. And now I have an excuse to buy one. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any hand-turned pens. I was just so happy to find one that I could get the cap on and off of by myself, because it's always nicer to be able to do things independently. I also am just in love with this blank. It is so utterly me, and it's so sparkly. I also do really love their Pen Show After Dark champagne blank, and so I have a feeling that that will probably be my next hand-turned pen, because it's absolutely stunning and I adore it. So I hope you enjoyed, and have a great day.